Here in the U.S., President Trump is considering options on whether the U.S. should join Israel's attacks on Iran.
So senior White House correspondent Peter Doocy is ready for us. Peter, what do you hear?
That based on every calculation President Trump is making, he might still avoid, or rather Iran could avoid having U.S. involvement in this war if they publicly denounce their own nuclear program. And I've been told, and talking to folks around here, that it is possible some Iranian negotiators could come here to the White House as soon as next week. But there are logistical problems getting the people who would be negotiating out of wherever they're hiding in Iran, out of the country, and then to the White House. And the way President Trump is looking at this, every time Israel strikes inside Iran, the Iranians have less leverage.
They should have, look, they should have made the deal. I had a great deal for them. They should have made that deal. 60 days we talked about it, and in the end they decided not to do it, and now they wish they did it. And they want to meet, but it's, it's a little late to meet, but they want to meet, and they want to come to the White House. They'll even come to the White House, so we'll see. I may do that.
Iran's deputy foreign minister says if the Americans decide to get involved militarily, we will have no choice but to retaliate wherever we find the targets necessary to be acted upon. Iran's supreme leader says the U.S. president threatens us with his absurd rhetoric. He demands that the Iranian people surrender to him. They should make threats against those who are afraid of being threatened. The Iranian nation isn't frightened by such threats. The president also says Vladimir Putin's proposal to come and play peacemaker for Iran and Israel will not have his blessing.
And I spoke to him yesterday, and I said, he actually offered to help mediate. I said, do me a favor. Mediate your own. Let's mediate Russia first, okay? I said, Vladimir, let's mediate Russia first. You can worry about this later.
And when you talk to officials here at the White House about President Trump's timeline as he decides to strike or not to strike, I am continually directed to his comments yesterday on the South Lawn where he says the next week could be very big, maybe less. Back to you.
So do we know if he's made a decision? Wall Street Journal saying he has on whether or not to engage, but he has not given the final orders. AP saying that he doesn't want to carry out a strike, but suggesting that he stands ready to act. Have you heard him say, I have made a decision?
No, he said that he has not made a decision and that he likes to make the decisions at the last possible second. When we checked in on that Wall Street Journal story, which is well-sourced, I was told by a White House official that all options remain on the table. So when President Trump says nobody knows what he is going to do, he wants the whole world guessing.
Yeah, he does not mind. Thanks so much.
Thank you, Peter.
Thanks, Peter.
I'm Steve Doocy.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.